I'm Cade.
And I'm Brent.
And welcome to another review by 1980 something. Today we're going to be looking at the classic Retro Spaceman, set number 52812.
Yep.
It's a recent VIP set, free set when you spend a certain amount at the Lego store or online through the Lego store.
Yep. So let's get started and have a look at the packaging close up. So as you can see, it's got a nice sort of retro look to it. It's even got the classic Lego system logo on the top, which I don't think I've seen since probably the 70s or something. And I was born in 1979, so that was only old sets that were hanging around on the shelves in the early 80s. We've got a cool sort of stud pattern on the front there, and a picture of the spaceman and his little robot companion on the front.
It's actually pretty cool. It seems like a lot of efforts has kind of gone into making the box. Considering it's a free set that you get for spending over a certain amount through the Lego store, it's a lot. It's not just like a poly bag like a lot of the items are.
Yeah, I think that elevates it above a normal poly bag as well. It's got a much more sort of sophisticated feel to it.
I actually have a couple of really old sets that have very similar packaging from around the same time, and I think it's probably a throwback to what the packaging used to be like back in the early 80s, late 70s. Just
like that old packaging, the box slides out rather than just opening. And inside you can see you've got the little manual and you've got the cool sort of space logo on the back there.
Yep. It's also on the back of the box as well, again, which is pretty cool.
Yep. And in the manual you've got obviously your instructions. You're putting your robot together.
Pretty complicated set, as you can see.
A whole 2 pages taken up there. And then you've got sort of a history of the classic space minifigure, which even starts early back as before they were even minifigures. They were sort of brick-built little men there. And throughout you've got 1978, which I think was the first appearance of the Spaceman.
It was the first classic Spaceman minifig, came out that year, I believe.
Yeah. And throughout the manual too, you've got the little pictures of the Spaceman and his robot.
It kind of probably should come with a warning, because it looks like that robot's swearing right now, and the Spaceman's going, "No, what are you saying? You shouldn't be saying that in the Lego manual."
Yeah. And one thing I did notice throughout the printing of these pages here, it's actually got like an old sort of worn filter over the top of it. I don't know whether that's intentional or... It
did make me wonder if they scanned old catalogues or something.
But I know
it's cool.
It's fairly easy to recover a photo like that in Photoshop, so I'm surprised it's sort of so yellowed, and some of it's a bit of discrepancy between some of the colouring, so maybe it was thrown together rather quickly or something.
It's another thing of note with this manual is that it's actually bound. Like it's a very thin manual, but it's actually bound together, which is pretty cool. Again, it's a pretty high quality for such a small set and for something that they're giving away.
And as you can see, it goes all the way through up to modern day 2007, 2013 there, and sort of it's got all the iterations of, I guess, what would you call them, the neutral spacemen?
Yeah.
But it's a nice little manual, and again, I think this sort of elevates it a bit above a regular poly bag.
I think collectors, it will bring back memories looking through that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the packaging.
So this is the actual set now, all assembled. Like we said in the instructions, it's not much to it.
Yeah.
But it brings back a lot of memories from the old classic space range. Yeah,
and I don't know when the last sort of version of these spacemen appeared, but it's been a long time since you've been able to get a white one, and all of my white ones have since long faded. So it's really nice to be able to get a reissue of this. And just as a note too, there was a collectible set a few years back which had a reissue of, I think, the red and the blue one.
Yeah.
And actually had the space logo on the torso here was actually sort of centered and it looked completely off, so it's good to see it sort of rectified here, and they've pushed it back up to the top where it should be.
The obvious omission from the set is the fact that he has the modern space helmet, and it's not the original helmet that they had originally. And it obviously has the much thicker section under the chin, which was a common thing to break as a child playing with spacemen minifigs.
And funnily enough, I think we've spoken about this before, is as a kid I actually preferred these modern takes on the helmet because they looked a bit more stylish.
Yep.
And now that I think it's probably after the Lego movie and my sort of nostalgias have me liking the old style more. So I was actually kind of disappointed that it has the modern helmet here.
Well, when I first saw these sets, and they were revealed and they're on everyone's blogs, I actually thought it had the classic space helmet, and I thought it was a new mold because of the way the photo was taken, you could kind of not really see where the visors clip in from the front view, and it got me really excited. And I ended up ordering a few, but I still don't think that's a bad thing. As we know, the exosuit, which is coming up soon, is going to have the modern helmets as well.
Yep, in green.
In green.
I'm a little disappointed actually that it didn't come with a visor. I've always felt these helmets look a bit sort of odd when they don't have a visor on. So assuming you've got your own, I've always found them look a bit better with a little visor on top, which they don't come with, so you'll have to bring your own along for that.
That being said, I believe the exosuit has a spare trans-clear visor.
A lot of you will most likely be getting this along with the exosuit, so you'll have a spare to go along with this, which will be good. And then moving on, we've got the little robot, which some of you probably remember from a few sets. Personally, I had a very similar one in the 6872 Xenon X-Craft in a different colour.
We've got him here.
Yeah, so it's virtually identical except for the colour scheme and the lack of
the 1x1 round plate on the front and back.
The front and back. But this was a one visually identical to this, came out in the 6931 FX Star Patroller, with the only exception being this one actually has a bar through the middle to sort of hold the arms on a bit better, which those bars didn't exist back in the time. So
yep. So I think next up what we'll do is we'll compare the minifig that came in this set with the classic Spacemen from back in the day. So here they are, the classic Spacemen, and each of the different colours that are available.
And you can see over the years, like the white one, I don't have a single white one that hasn't faded, so it's really nice to be able to get another gold one. And the black is also faded, which seems to be, from what I see, the common two that fade the most. I
also wonder if those were the least common coloured Spacemen. I don't know about that.
I know the black one is the rarest, I'm pretty sure, and I know the white isn't as common as the others.
I think the first ones were white, and maybe they didn't carry that through, because I remember when I started to get into the space Lego, and it was mainly just the red and the blue Spaceman, and I remember I had one black one, and I was like, well, that was like super special, and I don't think I had a single white one.
Yeah.
So
I had a few obviously, but they've all faded. And I do remember reading, I can't tell you the exact allocations, but I know the Lego designers sort of internally had a occupation assigned to each colour. I think the white was the astronaut, the red was a cosmonaut, I think yellow was engineer, and I think perhaps the blue was a pilot, and the black were the unofficial bad guys from what I read somewhere.
Which ultimately got turned into Blacktron then, I guess.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Leo, what's your thoughts on the classic Spaceman minifigure set?
I think it's really cool. Like, I think the packaging is really cool. It's definitely a cool throwback to classic space set line, and I think that it's probably only really going to appeal to people who were really into that, or that they've been wanting to get into that and haven't been able to, because they haven't been around for so long. So I guess in some respects it probably has limited appeal to a younger audience, but I think to old school Lego collectors, I think it's, you want to get it. It's great packaging and a great homage to the old sets.
Yeah, for me it's a way to sort of fill my collection. Like, I don't have one of those old white spacemen with the solid gold moon on his chest. So for me it's a good way of getting that, and also the throwback with the packaging and the little robot. But to play devil's advocate, it is a minifigure and a robot, which is a really simple set. So I'd be curious to know if anyone who didn't grow up with them like I did is as interested in this set. So feel free to leave a comment and let us know if you're as excited for the set as we were, or...
I would say that I expect it to be collectible. Like, I can see people, like, the people who like this are really going to like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there's probably been a recent resurgence too with the Lego movie with Benny. And interest in classic space. And there's the exosuit coming up in August, which will also give us a green version of this, which we've never seen a green spaceman before, which sounds really stupid for people outside of Lego, or even people who are interested in classic space, to say that, but for us as fans it's a really big deal. So I'm not sure when this is actually coming out for the US. It came out for ourselves in Australia and the UK in early July. I think it was from the 1st to the 7th. I have a feeling it's early August for the US and some of the other countries, but don't quote me on that. So it's a great way, if you're picking up a set from the Lego store and you're a VIP, make sure you grab this set, because even if you don't like it, you've probably got a relative who might appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's our thoughts on the classic Retro Spaceman minifigure set. Let us know what you think. Leave us a comment, subscribe. If you didn't like our review or the comments, feel free to let us know, because we're always looking for ways to improve.
Absolutely.
So that's Brent out.
And Cade, thank you for watching.
See you later.